We are Sticky Productions, a group of 4 queer female dancers based in Oslo. And right now we have
Liv, hi.
Hannah.
And Ingvild. And we also have Maria with us, but she's not with us today.
She's here. This is her room. So we've been working together since 2020. So at the end of kind of COVID, we were speaking to each other across different countries and wanted to build a work together, basically. And we made a children's production that premiered in Norway in 2022, which was about the forest floor and the creatures that live just above and just below. And we were kind of getting excited about combining the elements of dance, ecology, and ultimately queerness are where the new work is going, and how these kind of pillars interconnect, interweave, how we can layer and inform, how they can inform each other.
We've been working, or we like to work in a way that engages the different senses. So, for example, in the first work, we had this smell that we spray around the room, which is like a combination of pine and rotting leaves in the forest, so that you kind of, the whole experience becomes quite kinesthetic, that you engage the sight, but then the ears, and then the sense of smell. That
immersed you kind of inside a work. For example, with this work, we're looking at the ecology of slugs and how slugs are and their anatomy and how they, their sensorial experience and how they mate and relate to each other.
And then I also think we dig quite deep into like theory as well. We read a lot and we kind of collect a lot of information, and then we translate it into movement, into voice. And we work with scenographers, costume designers that also are part of like creating that world.
Hellerau, European Centre of the Arts, is an international and interdisciplinary centre for performing arts. That means it's dance, theatre, performance, media arts and music. And we have a space to host festivals and very different formats, like productions, but also exhibitions and discourse and residencies. So that's one focus of the program as well. And we cooperate with various partners internationally, but also regional partners. The residency program is very important for us because we have big resources. We have all the apartments on the site, so next to the stages. We have different studios in different forms. We have project rooms, so we have a lot of space and resources to have artistic research and exchange. The center is in Dresden, so it's quite important position actually for an East-West hub in a way, because it's quite near to the border to Czech Republic and Prague.
I'm Alba. I'm a dance artist, performer, dance and performance producer, and also I do multidisciplinary work.
We are an international group. We have like 2 Brits and half Irish. And then Maria, who is the other dancer, she's from Sweden and half Norwegian. And then I'm from Norway. So we have like a European identity in the group through that.
we were speaking a bit about how being based in Norway, we're off the mainland. We're a little bit isolated from mainland Europe, where, you can be in Belgium one day and then France and blah, blah, blah. You can jump on a train, but it's not quite so simple. Like, we still have this like very physical border of sea or very long trains. And it's nice to have this focus on what is your European identity, because it can feel like it's just like Norway with Scandinavia up there, but like kind of on its own. So it's nice to understand that we're part of a bigger network of sharing as well.
We were saying earlier about like how the European, like mainland Europe, feels like a bit of a membrane between between networks and communities of dance, and there's a bit more kind of fluidity or transference of information and knowledge in a like basic human way. You can kind of, you're free to move around a little bit.
When you start with the idea that identity is something fluid, that something that is in progress, that needs to be constantly questioned and changed, this is for me the most important thing also with European identity, that it's something that is constantly like add on all the new perspectives that we have to look at and that we haven't looked at yet. So for me it's mostly a question that we have to ask ourselves, I guess, and that we have to ask artists and institutions and have a conversation about it.
I mean, as I just moved to Belgium, it seems kind of that I'm in the process of getting to know the system as a dance artist, but also as a producer, to getting to know the funding system, the structures, the places, how people work. And I guess it's quite different to Germany, but at the same time, I feel like working with people is always the same. Because we're all humans.
And with Sticky, it was really nice actually that I first read the application and discussed it with all the venue partners and advisory partners, because we had some discussions about the applications, of course. And so you first have all this text and info material, and then we met in Hammerfest in Norway already, because we had a partner meeting there. And they already showed like a small insight into their work, so I got an idea already, which is really nice to now have them here and to see how the project developed actually. And we will have a moment of exchange within the next days.
It's very interesting for me to be in this position, looking at something from outside and without being necessarily into the theme and the subject and the way of working. For me, it's very important to be really an observer and a person who accompanies, and really try to not direct something or define rigidly something, as for the artist to have choices and to communicate this openness.
The work that we're making now during Moving Identities is called Ooze, which is about queer ecology, and we were interested in how historically homosexuality and gender variance has been omitted from science or labelled an anomaly. So we kind of wanted to shine a spotlight on that. Bring that back.
We're still in the research and development phase of this work, Ooze, and we're wanting to like not narrow down too soon, so we're trying to keep the palette growing, keep discovering what it is to begin from a different angle, or try to manipulate materials into different levels, for example, or naturally with the slug, a lot of the stuff we've been doing has been kind of quite low to the ground. And how is it to bring the body up, and what can you focus on, what's interesting about being on this other level.
Actually, I know quite a bit of the environment I lived in, and I can share this, and this is a nice feeling to share, and then also to have this exchange of the artists or you guys talking to me about how it is in Oslo, how it is in the environment you live in the country, in the city you live in, and how do things work. So it's really an exchange for me.
The future of sticker productions and where we see ourselves in like 5 years or 3 years, and how we can grow together and maybe become like slightly more international, working on reaching out to different venues and spaces. Because we worked a lot in Norway, but we're wanting to expand. So yeah,
Trying to give ourselves a bit of structure and stability in an industry that feels a little disposable or unpredictable.
This project is very special as a construction, first off, because we have the 6 different venue partners in different countries, and then we also have advisory partners. So there's a lot of expertise first on. And we have these monthly meetings, and they're super important to have exchange of just experiences that we are making with the different residencies and artists, and also, of course, some failures, because sometimes people are getting sick, or there's some life-changing moments, or sometimes a flight has to be cancelled, or we have to talk again about sustainable ways of working and traveling. And to have this constant exchange on a digital side is super important. And then we also have the opportunity to meet each other at our venues. What I so far take with me is that it's a really nice construction to have this 3 years of a project, to have each round developing further, because we already can integrate the feedback that we got into the next version, and to also think about our different contexts, because we first met and we just talked through each venue and like what are our specific things on site, because especially when you're located in specific contexts of countries, or in specific extreme situations of nature or weather, like in Norway, there are very different ways of working or networking that come out of it. And that's, for me, super interesting to have these conversations.